Today, I'm going to be covering 5 easy tips you can apply to your Hero Forge miniatures to make them stand out. These are things you should consider applying to each of your creations to get the most out of your money when printing or downloading your figure. By not applying these tips, you might find your character lacking in definition, personality, and I expect, just like me, you don't want them to just be another boring figure lost on the battlefield. Let's get started. Hey, I'm Steven. I'm a streamer on YouTube Live. You can click down below on my channel to check me out. I stream Saturday and Sunday at 7:30 PM Australian Eastern Standard Time, where we look at a variety of creations made by the Hero Forge community, as well as play some other games such as Animal Crossing New Horizon and The Inner World, just to name the latest. Today, as I said, we're going to be covering over 5 important steps that anyone can do to improve their Hero Forge miniatures. A lot of these concepts are often overlooked by the majority, but are key fundamentals that I see applied by the pros. The best part? You don't need to be a pro, or have the pro version for that matter. Once applied, I guarantee you'll be saving hours of work that would normally go into these small tweaks and adjustments post-creation. If you guys find anything helpful in this video, let me know by dropping a like, comment, and consider subscribing. To get you started, the first tip you should consider applying is creating your pose before anything else. The site has done a bit of a disservice to the advanced positioning feature by putting it at the bottom, but, and I say this from countless hours of experience, please always position your miniatures first. My advice would be to remove all unnecessary details such as facial features, hair, and clothes, and move straight to the pose section. Positioning your character first allows you to really understand your character's physicality and how they hold themselves. Are they lazy and hunched, or spry and eager for battle? Well, that can be explored here. When creating miniatures on this site, it can be easy to express a character by their clothes, gear, or how you color them. But I think what truly makes a character stand out is how they physically hold themselves. Next up, let's talk about the importance of your character's eyes. I feel as though many people throw any old pair of eyes on, maybe adjust the color and call it a day. But the site has a few features that you might not be implementing or adjusting correctly to make a noticeable difference to your character. If you head to the color tab, click on the mix, and locate your eyeball, you'll see that you can change the shape, iris size, rotation, glow, and color for the iris, eyeball, and pupil. But what does this all mean, and how can we make our miniature stand out? Let me show you. We're going to be using Jalen here as an example. I've set his eyes to be one of the basic color options, and I'll work through some changes you can make. Here you can see I've selected the blue basic eye color. My first thing I like to do is just go into the iris and change the mid-tone and high tone here just so it looks a little bit more realistic. I add some shadow with that low tone and try and get a blue that looks a little bit more natural. Now I'm heading to the eyeball. This I want to make darker, and you'll see a little bit soon as to why I've made that darker, but still keeping it in that white to grey realm. I'm then trying to go into the iris size and glow and adjust these to my liking. I want the iris size to look a little bit more natural, and I want to amp up the glow. This is the reason why I put down that iris color, because I want the white to pop, but the blue to pop a little bit more. This way the white doesn't look overexposed and it still gives that natural eye look. Here you can see I do a bit of a compare and comparison to see what the original eyeball looked like versus what I've got now, just to see if there are any more changes I would like to make. But as I can see, I think I've done a pretty good job in making it a little bit more realistic, a little bit more poppy out, and a little bit more standout-esque. Next up is something I don't see too often, and I think it's because the option wasn't super user-friendly until recently, and that's layering. Layering is important because it creates a sense of depth and realism to your character. Without it, your character can look undefined, blocky, and unfinished. Now, there are a few different types of layering that would warrant another video. Comment below if you'd like to see it. For now, I'm going to go over the most obvious layering option, chest layering. The chest section in Hero Forge is divided into 3 sections: under, over, and neck. Funnily enough, at this point of the video, I was going to warn you that not all under and over layers go together. However, while I was writing the script for this video, Sky Castle Studios beat me to the punch with their latest update that organizes the under and over sections so that they are now compatible. Here are several examples that I've put together to showcase the added detail that comes with this functionality. With this miniature, I've gone with the open vest for the under. For the over, I've gone for the street hacker jacket. And for the neck, I've gone for the dented metal choker. This gives a nice street ruffian vibe. With this next miniature, I went for the cloth jacket the undercover overcoat, and the large wrap scarf to create a sense of a deserted warrior or traveler type look. With this last miniature, I went for the Jacob shirt. In the over, I went for the bardic coat. And for the neck, I went for the Disciple of Death cowl to give a fancy or more noble look to your miniature. Next up might be obvious, and full cards on the table, I can tell you doing this may take the longest out of all my tips when you first start out, but I promise the outcome is totally worth it, and that's giving extra detail to the small things. Again, let me draw your attention back to the pose tab. Whereas before we discuss your model's physicality, I want to now stress the importance of detailing different parts of your gear and add-ons. Whether it be tails, an item on your side, or even a cape, these afterthought accessories have a surprisingly high amount of advanced customization. Most capes, like this furry coat, have up to 7 points of manageability. Tails like this straight tail have up to 19 vertebrae to twist, bend, and tilt. This means you can really give life to a cape blowing in the wind, a tail curled up or a tentacle flailing about, and a real depth to how your character holds the monotonous and overbearing number of items an adventurer collects. Taking time on each of these might feel like tedious work in the beginning, but the result will leave your miniature looking unlike any other. Lastly, let's talk about your miniature's base. Now, what I'm about to say may shock you, so prepare yourselves. Are you ready? Good. What I'm here to say is, if you want your miniature to stand out, leave your base blank. But Stephen, you cry. That's where I can add rats and poop and duck, you protest. Yes, I agree. Having those extras on your base can tell the audience different tales of terrain, pets, and of course, poop. In this video, I wanted to get out tips you can implement to make your character stand out. And what better way to make them stand out than to have them as the sole center of attention? Applying this tip will also help your miniatures look fantastic when you take photography. Personally, I like to head straight for the rim option and select curve, and then coat it with the uniform black glossy paint base. Thank you so much for making it to the end of the video. Comment below what tip you applied, and hey, if you'd like to see me break down more tips and tricks, you can either let me know below or during my next stream. Peace and love.